Hello YouTube, welcome to today's video. Recently LS showcased this new website, drafting.gg, and in today's video I wanted to talk a little bit about drafting. Now I'm not an expert on drafting when it comes to competitive games, but I do have a little bit of insight when it comes to solo queue, and I have been talking to a former LEC coach as well when it comes to importance of having counterpick on different roles when it comes to drafting. Now, some of these rules do apply to competitive, but it's not focused on competitive, it's focused on solo queue. And solo queue drafting does not matter nearly as much as it does in competitive. And obviously, the higher elo you are, the draft matters more compared to if you're low elo, the draft doesn't really matter almost at all, because you can win with pretty much any draft. So we have blue side and red side, with blue side being first pick. So typically what you will do is that after the ban phase, you are going to pick the most broken champion that is available on the patch. Now patch 13.5 just came out and it did nerf and buff a bunch of champions. But if we have like a really broken pick, like Aurelion Sol, then you would simply be first picking Aurelion Sol or whatever most broken champion that there is that wasn't banned. That is what you will first pick. Then red side will be able to pick two champions on red 1 and red 2. And here you have a few different options. You can go for a bot lane synergy. So you can say, well, we want to secure a specific bot lane. A very good example of this is Lucian and Nami. That way you secure both the ADC and the support, making sure that you have synergy on your bot lane, because having Lucian without the Nami is not nearly as effective as having both of them together. So that is one way to do it. Otherwise, you can do in terms of what roles are important to have counterpick in. And I have the list right here. Some people will have this differently. I personally believe that support is more important to have counterpick on than top lane. Some people say that top lane is more important, but basically it's most important to have counterpick on top and support and mid lane, and least important on jungle and AD carry. Meaning that you would just pick either the bot lane together here, or you would pick the jungle and AD carry. So if you then decided to go for the jungle and AD carry, then let's say that we are going to pick... let's just say we pick Vi here, and then we pick Draven here, right? Then what blue side will now do, they are going to answer with the picks that have already been showcased. So that means because they already showcased the jungler and the AD carry on R1 and R2, then blue side should then respond with jungle and AD carry as well. So we are just going to respond with a Maokai jungle and let's say Caitlyn AD carry, right? Then what red side will then do is that they will now have the counter pick for mid lane. So they're just going to counter pick with mid lane. And let's just say we're going to pick LeBlanc. I'm not saying that it's a counter to Aurelion Sol, I've just seen some LeBlanc players win this matchup. And then here's the difference between solo queue and competitive. In competitive, you would now be able to target ban the last two roles that haven't been picked yet. Whereas in solo queue, you would just continue picking. So here, R4 will then be picked. And again, in this situation, you have to either pick the support or you have to pick top lane. And this is where people will start kind of like debating what is better. But in this example, top lane is most important, support second most. There are arguments for doing the opposite. But we do now know that it is a Draven AD carry that we will be playing, and it's against a Caitlyn AD carry. So we could then go ahead and pick... Let's say that we pick Leona, right? So now blue side will then have to, again, counter pick the support pick, but they then also have to blind pick their top laner, giving R5 the counter pick on top lane. So we're then going to respond with a Lux down here, and then we will pick something safe on top lane, such as K'Sante. And then obviously red side will then have the counter pick, and they will pick a counter into K'Sante. I don't really know K'Sante that well because it's a fairly new champion, but let's just say they pick Gnar into it or whatever, right? So the most important thing is you pick most broken champion here. So most broken champion is what you blind pick. Then you pick these two. This will either be bot lane or it will be jungle and AD carry. These are the most common things. And then here it will then depend what you picked. Is it this or this? If you did pick your bot lane, then you'll pick jungle. If you already picked your jungle and AD carry, then you'll pick mid lane here, right? But then it'll be actually these two. So here you are just going to counter. You're going to counter R1 and R2. Then these two get picked. And you are going to pick, as I said, mid lane and jungle, or mid lane and support, or top lane, depending on what you value most. And then you have to pick here. So again, this will be the counter pick, this will be the blind. And then this will then be also counter pick. So I hope this gives you some insight in terms of how should these drafts go. And basically in what order would you want to pick. And who should have counter pick in terms of just role strength in the current meta. So that's basically in the video. If you enjoyed it, remember to like. If you have any questions, leave in the comment section down below. Otherwise, feel free to subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos. And then I also want to say thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.